All right. Hello. Welcome, everybody, to the 2025 year TUP orientation. To get us started, we're going to do our introduction and process by, sorry, not process, just introduction and welcome with our city manager and city clerk, Aaron Vassilotti and Suzanne Leclerc.
Basically, Erin and I just want to thank each and every one of you for being here. The city thrives when we have great events. And so the city loves events. We want to work with you this year, make the process easier for you to do, and hopefully that we have some great successful events.
Yes, absolutely. And I think you could see from last year, we are very committed to supporting the events, having a real level of professionalism with our facility staff and with traffic control and everything else. So I really hope that you're noticing that, and we continue to improve on that each year. So that's really our biggest takeaway. And we just wanted to thank you all for continuing to help our city to grow and thrive.
Thanks. Enjoy.
All right. Who's ready for TUP orientation? All right. So if we start off on the packet we gave you with the agenda, and if we go open off that paperclip and take us to the end of it, that's our TUP permit for this year. And I'm just going to dive into the meat and potatoes so we can get this ball rolling. So as you all have done in the past year, a wonderful job of filling out this paperwork with us. I'm just going to run through it really quick. Applicant information, that's who you guys are and that's who you are. Property owner information. So this is where the event is going to happen. And one of the requirements we have is we need the property owner's signature on the last page. So that will help us in the long run of getting us complete application from the beginning. And the description of temporary use, one of the places we always seem to have a snag is in the anticipated turnout. What that one is we're not looking for an exact number, and we don't expect you to be out there with a clicker saying there's going to be 2,000 people here clicking. But what we need is a good general estimate of how many people we can expect so that we can do a proper traffic control plan. All right. And if we jump to our next page, it's trash and recycling, which can be done through the city. But again, this requires us knowing that it is going to be required so that we can plan ahead and have the facilities ready for the event. And use of city personnel and equipment, typically that's going to go through the TUP again, which is, okay, we want to use Memorial Park. Okay, we want to use a outlet. That'll be through our Parks and Rec department. But again, part of this application. Finally, we're on the checklist and requirements. Oh, go for it. No, that is a charge. It is not for free. Oh, the question was, is trash and recycling free or is it a charge for the city of Woodland Park? We charge for it. All right, so now we're into our checklist and requirements. This right here is everything that we need. Now, all of them do not necessarily apply. And if you ever have any questions, please feel free to give me a call. My number is attached on the application. It's the card on the front, and I'll just state my number for the record. My business line is 719-687-5202. And this is basically everything that's going to happen that could happen. Like, are you on the city's property? We need a certificate of liability insurance. That always can come up, and always better in the beginning to have a certificate of liability insurance with us so that we're covered and it doesn't come up right at the end at the 12th hour. And then traffic control plan. The sooner we get a traffic control plan in, the sooner we can get that working on. And that comes really in handy when we have large events. So, and really the whole point of it is safety for the people in the event, for the event itself, and for the people of Woodland Park. And finally, then we just need your signatures. So one of the things that really come up is the last page of that packet I gave you. It's the special event site plan. So on that site plan, a lot of times everyone is so intimately familiar with their own event that they know everything that's on it. But we do not. There are times where we need a legend on the map of, okay, great, we have a drawing and there's symbols on it. There's no definition on the symbol. We don't know what that is. So then we have to come back out and reach out to everyone and say, can you please describe to me what this site plan is? So the better site plan we have, the less snag we will run into, and it'll be a smoother process for everyone involved. And really, that's about it. If I could leave you with anything, it's do the best job on a site plan you can, and please give me a call before you turn it in, just so that we can have a conversation about it, I can see it, and then we can move forward with it. Absolutely. Mhm. We do. So typically, I believe our requirement is to keep it for 4 years, might be 3. But, and if you have it on, if we have it on file, I can share it with you and say, this is what we have from last year. What are the changes going to be? Hello.
Grant did a great job. I'm Karen, but I want to add some quick context for y'all. I'm Karen, the planning director. Grant is our permit technician, who is your primary point of contact when you're working on your TUP application. And then the other gentleman in our front office that is available to assist you is Rick Dieter. He's in the back of the room. Wave. Yay, Rick. Thank you. So those two gentlemen are really your point of contact. And what's going on with the TUP is you're about to see as we go through the rest of this agenda, there is a variety of city departments that need to come together to make sure that all of a variety of issues and concerns are addressed and coordinated in a comprehensive manner, which makes your event go much more smoothly and easily. And there's a reason that we ask for your application at least 45 days in advance. And that's because our objective is to get your permit out the door at least 2 weeks prior to your event. So that way everybody knows what they're doing, where they're going, all your I's are dotted, your T's are crossed, all that kind of stuff. And to this other gal's question, if you had an event within the last 2 years, maybe 3 years, we have your files still available. So you can contact the folks in the planning office and get copies of any of the stuff you have previously submitted, and then update that for this year's event. So that's kind of the broad context as to why we do this, and we're very glad you're here. And so with that, next on the agenda, it looks like it's Melody Clammer-Campbell, who coordinates events at UPass Cultural Center. Thank you, Melody.
Very cool. Hello, my name is Melody Clemma Campbell. I did get married, so now there's a Clemma Campbell. The Clemma will go away, but it's just to help everybody know I'm the same person. So that's exciting. I run UPass Cultural Center. Who has had an event at UPCC? Boom. Yes. Love it. So a lot of you know that every nonprofit can rent UPCC for free 1 day a year. So the rules on that, that's just the rental cost. And so we highly encourage you to take advantage of our setup, cleanup, linens, bar service. That still would be at a charge, but the actual rent of the building would be covered. You cannot rent that more than 6 months in advance unless you pay for one of those services ahead of time. So that's just kind of your way to book out if you want to get one of those services. And a lot of the time when you're booking that far out, you're getting lower pricing. So you can book 2024 pricing up until February 1st right now. So I have my card in the back and the 2024 pricing. So if you have some idea for some dates, we got a lot of weddings booking those up right now. So I suggest if you want a weekend event, you get that on the calendar. The best way to book an event is to reach out to myself or Kristen Weiss. She just got engaged, so her last name's going to change soon too. So we're very, yes, very fun. But I do have a QR code in the back that you can scan to schedule a tour at UPCC. That's a great way for me to walk the property with you. And then that's how we can determine if you need a TUP or create a quote or all of the fun. I love events too, so I can help you plan a little bit as well. So it's a good time. So the best way to book is to start that conversation, schedule a tour, and we can talk about what's possible. on that. So there has been some confusion of when a TUP is needed at UPass Cultural Center. So it's 3 questions you have to ask yourself. First one, is it public? So if it's a wedding that's invitation only, that doesn't need a TUP. If it's a birthday party that you're only inviting your friends and family to, that doesn't need a TUP. What puts it into that world is a public, I'm selling tickets, I'm inviting the community, there's a stranger that might show up. That's when it becomes TUP world. And then after that is it outside? So when it's underneath our roof, you're covered with the city liability. But when we are outside, that's when we might need to get some extra liability insurance. You need to get a TUP so we can understand what's happening outside as well. So public, outside, and then the last thing is if you need the city's help. So like Grant was talking about traffic control, extra trash, putting up fencing, needing to go past 9 p.m., what our sound ordinance is. That's when you have to go through the TUP process so we can trigger that and all get on the same page. So is it public? Is it outside? And do I need the city's help? And one of those is being that your food truck, or like Kiwanis has a grill outside for one of their events. They had to get a TUP. It was an inside event, but they're preparing food outside. So that's when it triggered it. So all of your food trucks that serve at UPCC have to have a TUP. And they can just do one TUP for the year. Then they get on my list of you're good to go. And they can, if they're having trouble, why should I sign up for that? It's because now you can serve at any other UPCC event. And there's a lot of us looking for food trucks that are, licensed and permitted to operate. So it's really good for the food trucks to get that TUP. And if they already have one, they just have to add the page for UPass Cultural Center into their permit. So it's really easy. So if you want to book an event or you want to start talking about it, grab my card, send me an email, schedule a tour. There's the QR code back there. I have my 2024 pricing. So if we can talk before February 1st, you can get that 2024 pricing. Do you guys have any questions? Did I nail it? Perfect. Yes. Great question. So we did not have enough signups to make it a full-on tournament. It'd be every team playing each other 4 times to make it. So I could use your guys' help in understanding how do I get events out to our community to know. Yeah. For the Lions Club, yes, very cool. Yeah, we would love. Yeah, and I might be able to do a summer cornhole tournament, try it outside. We definitely like the costume cornhole. I am willing to try it another time in 2025, but if I can't get the signups, then I might alter and look at some other different kind of event. So we do the city-sponsored events we do at UPCC are the Mom and Son Dance in the spring, and then the costume cornhole in October, and New Year's Eve on New Year's Eve. Yeah, so those are the events I need help getting people to, having advice on how we can improve, how we can get that message out. So great question. We want to do it. Start telling people now. Awesome. Am I supposed to call up the next person? Okay, let's have Grant do it. Give it up for your host, Grant.
All right, please welcome Cindy Keating for information regarding city parks.
I'm really disappointed I didn't get the cheer you did, Melody. First of all, I'm pulling out a little bit of Park and Rec on me here. I'm going to pass around this notebook. If you could put your name, your event organization, and your contact information on here, just so we know who's here today. At least it will help me. So like Grant said, I'm Cindy Keating. I'm the Parks and Recreation Director. And Parks and Recreation, we reserve parks and we also have advertising sites. So I'll hit on the parks first. Most of the large community events are going to happen at Memorial Park, which is just east of this office, if you're not familiar of it. Typically, large community events will use the whole entire park. But the best way to reserve that is I have forms on the back table if you want. But really, we would drive you to the website and have you register your reservation online. You won't get approved immediately. What we looked at to do is they'll send us the dates, the times, your event. We'll look at it, we'll approve it, and we'll email you back and say you've been approved. We do have some events like the farmers market, the arts and craft fair. That one too. How could I forget that one? Thank you, Pat. Cruise Above the Clouds. A lot of these events, they take a little bit more than just registering online. So you might want to give us a call. You might want to stop in. My business card and Maria's business cards on the back table as well. The other facility that we rent is Meadowood Sports Complex, and that's typically for sporting events, obviously sports complex, but can be used for other things as well. Parks and Rec does a bike rodeo in the parking lot. I'm sure the pickleball people will probably start doing tournaments and stuff out there too. So just remember, those are our two parks that we actually make reservations you can rent for your events. Questions on the parks? All right. And then we have two advertising sites. One of them is the marquee sign at Lions Park. There's the east side and the west side. And then there's also the banner site down by Walmart. The banner site is 4x12 banners. And now that we're down at Walmart, you don't have to put the wind socks in it, but it helps maintain your banner in better shape. And then also what we're looking for is if there's any tears or any rips, there's any holes, if the dates need to be changed, they cannot be taped over anymore. We're looking for quality banners to be hanging up at those sites. So if you have any question on your banner that's going to go up, if it's going to be approved, please stop by, give us plenty of time to look at it and let you know if you need to order a new one. Banner sites or advertising sites, we actually we call it Black Monday. We used to have people line up out the door to reserve our marquee and banner sites. And so we do that on the first Monday in November for the upcoming, or for the upcoming year. So that's already taken, a lot of that's already in our calendar. Give us a call, stop in, shoot us an email and see if we have space available for you still. I think we do. I think we still have banner site locations available and marquee. You know, in the summer is when we're really busy, and around the holidays when we're really busy for those sites. So those book up very fast, but we can probably squeeze you in sometime. It just may not be right around your event time. And I think that's all I have for parks and advertising sites. Carol? Yes. Well, if the question was who controls the electronic sign coming into town, and that is the one by McDonald's, I'm assuming. That is a school, city, group purchase and shared events, but that is currently not working. And actually what we've learned from the sign company is that it needs completely replaced. So right now we're not taking any reservations for that. And the question is, any idea when it might be replaced? And the answer is no. Sorry, Pat. Anybody else? I don't see Rob here. I don't know if Nicole, if you're going to help Rob. Okay, I'll try to do my best to help Rob out on this. So the city has cash that is available. Are you covering that? Well, good. Come on up here. I can tell you that we have it to help support. I don't know how much it costs. I don't know what the process is. Thus, there's Nicole. So I'm going to hand this over to Nicole.
I was not prepared to talk about cash, so it's going from memory. So hello, my name is Nicole. I'm Deputy City Clerk and Public Works Admin Assistant. I'll be up later to talk about liquor and traffic control. We call it the city cash, and it's items that you can rent. There is an agreement with it. So when you sign up for your TUP and you tell Grant, hey, I could really use some construction fencing, I could use some cones for parking spaces, I could use some barriers, he will refer you to Rob. Rob will send over an agreement. An agreement lists all of the items that we have available. You'll have to say, okay, I need 100 cones and 50 feet of construction fencing. That total is tallied up. $250 deposit is required. Normally, we just take a check. We hold on to that check. Once all the items have been returned and inventoried and nothing has been damaged, we can reach out to you and say, do we destroy the check? Do we give it back to you? But the deposit will go back to you. There is a charge. I'm not sure if Rob has changed the way he receives payments, but it could be check or credit card. And that's part of the agreement. But that would be through Rob. So if you have an event, UPCC, you'll see it a lot at Memorial Park. You'll see a lot of special special event cash items out there. Sometimes at Meadowood, we will get requests for cones. So if you have those kind of requests, that would go to Rob after you fill out your TUP. After you fill out your TUP. And that's all I have for that. Thank you.
All right, next on the list looks like it was Suzanne Leclerc, but do not see Suzanne. So it looks like Kimberly Burleson is up to speak about event license and sales tax.
Good afternoon. Thank you all for being here. This is great that everybody comes together and learns the process, so it makes it easier for planning and makes it streamlined for you guys. When you have a special event within the city, you have to get a permit for that. If it is 1 or 2 events per year, you do not have to get a business license through us. If it goes past that 2 events for the same organization, you will need to go through a separate process and get a full business license. Anita Riggle in the finance department is the contact for that. She is out this afternoon, so you get me instead. In order to conduct business, you have to have a license, like I mentioned, but it does not have to be a full business license if it is 1 or 2 events a year. We do need an application for that. On the back table, there is a 3-page packet that talks about how to get that, and it also includes the application. In order to have that application approved and continue to have events, we will have you collect and submit to the city sales tax. That is included on that front page if you look at it in your packet. It is a 4.09% sales tax, and it is due the 20th of the following month after your event. It's pretty simple. We do give you a checklist, a spreadsheet on how to calculate that. Any questions, Anita's information is included on that. You can always reach out to her or myself. Any questions? Yes. Yes. So we do need one from everybody, whether it's nonprofit or for-profit. It's just once it hits that 3rd event is when it would be a full business license, which has different regulations for nonprofit. But for this, we would still need that application for nonprofit. Correct. It's just this. So you would still collect sales tax because as a nonprofit, you are exempt from paying it, but you are not exempt from collecting it. So you would fill out this form, and what this shows is the total number of sales. It has a calculation of how to calculate that. And then prior to the 20th of the month after your event, you would submit this form along with a check to pay those sales tax amounts collected. So you would want to ensure that when you are having your event, anything you are selling, you calculate what that 4.09% sales tax is on each item that you're selling and collect it at that time. Correct. Correct. That is for sales. Correct. Correct. Okay, so that's a good point. If you are selling jam or you're selling jelly or you're selling something that is to be taken home and consumed later, you do not have to pay they do not have to pay sales tax on that. So if it is food that is consumed immediately, that is when it needs to be, or if it is a product, that's when you have to collect sales tax. So not food, not drink, but say knickknack. So, yes. Yes. So we looked into this today, and based upon the city's, well, based upon the state, that home rule thing does not apply when it comes to not immediately consumed food. I will relook into it, especially in the case of you guys, just to verify. And Lori, I can send you an email or reach out to you to let you know, just so that we make sure we're doing proper sales tax collection. So it would be, yeah. We looked at that today because we did have a question on it, and what we were able to determine is if it is for immediate consumption, then yes, there would be sales tax, but if it was for home consumption, there would not be. But I will verify that. I'll verify that for you. So, okay. Any other questions? All right, thank you.
Thank you, Kimberly. All right. So next up, looks like it is Nicole Sauer with our liquor licensing and permits.
Hello again. I have my deputy city clerk hat on. We're talking about liquor licensing for special events. Who has pulled a liquor license or applied for a liquor license here? Anybody interested in it? Hey, Pat. Taste of the Grape. That was a fun one. I remember. That was a fun one when we were like, look at that. Is anybody interested in a special event liquor license? Ah, good. Okay, typically, so when it comes to events on city property or city-sponsored event, typically the most prevalent liquor license we use is called a special event liquor license. You are eligible for a special event liquor license if you are a nonprofit, a philanthropic, beg your pardon, I'm trying to find my paperwork. Stuff has been dropping on me. Beg your pardon. All right, if you are a social club, if you are a fraternal club, patriotic club, political club, athletic, charter branch, national organization or society, religious institution, philanthropic institution, political candidate, municipal, that doesn't matter, or chamber of commerce, you are allowed to apply for a special events permit. That is an application. I do recommend you reach out to me, make an appointment, come in. We can fill out the application. $25 fee to the state. So far, no fee to the city of Woodland Park yet. However, that might change. We need this application 45 days before your event because we have to post the property, which means we put up a public notice that states the city this organization is requesting to have a liquor license on this property on this date, and people have the right to come to the liquor license hearing and protest or say they really want it. And we do that at a city council meeting. So if your event is on July 4th, we would have to schedule your liquor license hearing on the city council meeting before July 4th. And 10 days before that city council meeting, we'd have to post that public notice on the property. These are legal requirements of the state. So the timing of a special event liquor license is very important. So if it is something you're interested in, I recommend, no, you have to do it 45 days. Get it into us 45 days before your event so we can get all the scheduling and the legal requirements situated and send this up to the state in time. Any questions? Yes. So the question was, if a vendor is coming in to sell alcohol, do they have to get the permit or does the event organizer get the permit? Event organizer has to get the permit. The event organizer will be responsible. The liquor license is given to, I didn't bring it, to the event organizer. And all alcohol has to be, so you'll have a vendor who will come in and you'll have a specific space blocked off that alcohol is allowed to be sold at. And your vendors can sell whatever alcohol they want, but the liability is on the organizer. You're welcome. Along with the special event application, so you come in, we require some documents for the special event application. We'll need a diagram of the area that you want to serve alcohol in, and then with bold outline and a marker showing where alcohol will be served, where it will be served, where it will be consumed. We'll need a copy, some documentation that proves you have legal access to the premises. So it could be, for instance, if it's Memorial Park, I know they issue a permit. If it's at UPCC, it's a contract, but we just need documentation that shows, yes, we are allowed to be here for this event. We'll need a certificate of good corporate standing. Everybody know what that is? If you're a nonprofit, something you can go to the Department of Secretary of State online and download. We'll need one of that. And that's it. So it's not many documents compared to doing a liquor license, but those are required. Yes, Cindy. That is a very good question. So special events liquor license can be on public property and semi-public. So that's why it's okay at Memorial Park. That's why it's okay at UPCC on the green. But private property, that's a separate type of license that we'd have to go through. You're welcome. Great questions, indeed. Any other questions about liquor? I have days where all I do is liquor licensing, so I can talk about liquor all day long. But special event is pretty much straightforward. It's just really the timing. So if you're, for instance, have an event in 2 weeks and you're like, ooh, it would be great if we can sell beer. I'm so sorry, you can't do that. We need the 45 days. The time is really important for that. So that's liquor licensing. Any question? No. Okay. There's also a thing called festival permits, which is if you are a nonprofit, but you do hold a liquor license, or you are in a partnership with a business that does have a liquor license, we can do a festival permit. It's a different process, but it is possible if you are not a nonprofit, but still would like to serve alcohol at a special event. But please reach out to me for that, because that's a more involved process than a special event permit. Okay, should I just stay up here for traffic control? Okay, so let me get my other binder. Okay, hi, my name's Nicole. I'm a Public Works Admin Assistant. I help out when it comes to TUPs. I handle the traffic control agreements. I handle the administrative tasks of sending out the agreement, getting an understanding of which traffic control plan you would like, scheduling the walkthrough, but the actual setup is done by our streets department. But I can coordinate between event organizers and our streets departments if there's any special request. So traffic control. Anybody dealt with traffic control with me yet? Hi. So this city last year came up with 3 traffic control plans. One for Memorial Park, one for Baldwin Avenue, pretty much to help the high school for their, their graduation and their homecoming parade, and one for Baldwin Avenue that we designed for the lights above the clouds and partially the vet rally. So traffic control plans look like this. Have you guys seen this? They are MUCTD compliant, which means they're legal, they're certified. These are done by professionals. And along with these traffic control plans, the city went out and purchased all of these traffic control signs. So we have the gear to set it up and run it flawlessly. I like to say flawlessly because that's a goal we always strive for when it comes to traffic control. So when it comes to an event you want to hold, there's 2 type of events, nonprofit and profit. Nonprofits, I would still reach out to you. I see on the TUP, you're looking for traffic control. Here's an agreement, take a look at it, fill it out. Let me know if normally I ask you, for instance, sign circle all of the devices that you want to use. The signs are called devices, just so we're learning together. Circle all the devices you would like to use, and we'll still do a walkthrough just to make sure. And then you send that back to me. Now, if you're a nonprofit, I do take it to the city manager and I say, hey, they're a nonprofit. Can we do in-kind or in-kind donation or at cost or reduced cost? So that's something we can do for our nonprofits. For profits, you have to pay. Sorry. But I also like to say, we like to work. We truly do like to work with our event organizers and our members of our community. So if there is a solution or a compromise or something that needs to be done, we are willing to listen. I can't say that we can do it, but we are willing to listen. I know we worked out something with the farmers market last year. We'll have to talk about that later. I was like, are we doing that for 2025? So traffic control is triggered by the TUP. You get the TUP, you're like, yes, I need traffic control. I reach out to you. We fill out this paperwork. I get it signed off by the city manager if it's in kind or not. If you do have to pay, I let you know we need full cost or full payment a week before your event. Full payment a week before your event. And that is a nice time frame because a week 3 to 4 days before your event, I'll also reach out to schedule with all event organizers, with my streets crew supervisor, with Rob, a streets cash also, and possibly even public works director to do a walkthrough of the area that you're going to do your traffic control. So Memorial Park is easier to walk around than say Baldwin or Highway 24, but if we got to do it, we'll do it. And what I find is walkthroughs are very, very helpful, especially with Memorial Park, because what I've noticed, your events, they're all nuanced. Like Cruise Above Clouds is like, no, the cars are coming in over here, so the barrier has to be down by 9, but up by 3. But Farmers Market's like, no, by 7 a.m. everything go down and nobody touches it until 3. So everyone has their nuances, and these are things we want to know because we've learned that if we know these things before the event goes much more smoothly. Any questions so far? Am I covering everything? It's hard to tell when it comes to traffic control. Am I covering everything? And I think that's it. So please reach out to me. I'll put cards in the back. Everybody seems to put the cards in the back. I'll put my card in the back. So if you have traffic control questions or liquor licensing questions, I'll be happy to answer anything or help you move forward. Yes, the lady in the front. Oh, thank you. Good question. That's actually a little asterisk right here. If you are interested in purchasing, thank you. That reminded me of something else. Highway 24, you have to get a permit for CDOT. That is the event organizer's responsibility. You have to reach out to CDOT. We have all that contact information actually in the TUP, who you reach out to start that process. And that's something that I would require. For instance, Lights Above the Clouds wanted to do it. Okay, I need a copy of that CDOT permit to put with your traffic control plan to know that we are all covered and we are all legal. Another thing to keep in mind, this is what the city provides. You do not have to purchase it from the city, but a traffic control plan must be supplied to the city before you have your event. So if you want to go to your own private company and get their traffic control plan, they can submit it to us. Like I said, we have all of the devices. So it is very possible that you purchase the plan from a professional, but we'll do a separate charge for us to set it up or stage it, set it up, and break it down. So you do have that option, but we figured it's a better service if we do it in-house because we have done Memorial Park, we've done Baldwin, we've done Highway 24, we know what we're doing. So we feel we're a better oiled machine, but it is your right to go to another company to get that traffic control plan as long as we get a copy of it. Yeah, thanks Carol for that. That just wrapped it right up. All right. Any questions? Okay, thank you so much. You guys are great. You won't see me again. Ha ha. Right, Grant? They won't see me again. Okay. All my stuff. Thank you.
All right, now we're at the part that everybody loves, food and its requirements. All right, here comes Carrie Tack. For the record, Patak, I was mistaken. I apologize.
Say all the letters. Hi, I'm Carrie. I'm Teller County Environmental Health. I look at your TUP and I look for, do you have food? And then we have to work together. We have more applications. Also, whoever made up this form forgot to put that in there. So I have a coordinator application. So it just says like, this is your event, how many food vendors you've got, are you providing any of these things? Again, this is for public only. This would not be for a wedding. And then I need the list of all of your vendors, and your vendors should apply, provide you with their approval. And their approval can be either their Teller County retail food license, their mobile license, or a special events license like this that will have the name of your event on it. If they do not have something, there's another packet for them, and you can provide this to them. That just talks about like if they've got cottage, if they're doing cottage foods, if they're just selling fruits and vegetables, what they're doing. And there's different requirements that I need to verify if they're doing it safely, because nobody wants to get sick at your event. You are responsible for not allowing somebody that has not been approved. There is a fee now associated with tent vendors. So if somebody is preparing food, even if it's like just French fries or roasted chilies, if they're preparing food on site and they're not in a licensed mobile unit, then there's a fee for the event. And it's based on the duration and then the type of food. And that is all included in the packet for the vendors themselves. Please familiarize yourself with the vendor packet so that you know what to get from them and you can help guide them. Of course, I'm always available to help them. What questions do you have for me? Oh, good question. She wanted to know how long it takes to process my licensing. So I would like the coordinators to send in their applications 7 days before their event, at least, and then 10 days for the food vendors. That gives me time to make sure that they're approved before you send me all of the list of everybody. Okay, and I will also look at the site map to see where your bathrooms are, where the food is, and put in my 2 cents with that. So with Woodland Park, you guys already turn in that. So just make sure anything that's food, the ins and the outs are related. Sometimes, depending on the types of the event, you might need to get some extra hand washing stations or extra bathrooms. With alcohol, there is an increased number of that. With food and with animals, say you've got some petting, zoo animals, we're just gonna need to have some extra hand washing so we're not spreading diseases just within the public. Okay? Yes, ma'am. So the question was the vendors that have a cup with the spoon, the wooden spoon, it's a commercially packaged product. Yes, that would just be a limited license. Anything else? All right, thank you. My information's all in the back if you want to grab some packets or a card.
Thank you, Carrie. And it looks like Suzanne Leclerc is here to talk to us about First Amendment rights. Here she is.
I just had to have a hallway meeting. Who knows what their First Amendment rights are? Who knows what the First Amendment is? Correct, correct. So I'm here just to talk about every year when we have a public event in the city parks, we have an issue with First Amendment rights. For instance, and I'm not picking on Farmers Market, but I'm going to bring that up, not because of anything you do, but it's our biggest public weekly event. And so many times people come to the park and they want to pull wagons around with brochures that say, elect me to office. 4th of July, same thing when we have that big city park festival, people want to pull wagons around, vote for me. We also have people that want to stand in the parks and do petitions. They are allowed to do that. If it is a public event that they're not paying to attend, for instance, Vino and Notes would be an event where we could say, no, you can't do that because that's by ticket only. So when you do have a public event in the public park, we do have to allow those folks to do their thing. If they become disruptive or they're being nasty to people or anything like that, you can always call the cops. But the cops will tread very, very lightly when it comes to violating someone's First Amendment rights. So just know that. I know Farmers Market knows that really well now. And any of your paid events, it's a non-issue for. It's just our public events. So I just wanted to bring that up. Yes, ma'am. No, they're not allowed to block. That's what we talked about, if you recall. They're not allowed to. So for instance, if you have a vendor and all of a sudden someone with a petition is standing in front of the vendor's table and blocking the vendor from getting business, you can ask them to move. They're not allowed to impede traffic, flow of walking. They can't block vendors. You can suggest, maybe you want to go stand over there, you won't be in the way. But that's the only rule. That's the only time you can ask them to leave is if they're in the way of someone's business. But we can't ask them to leave the park. That's the thing we need to be clear on. Yeah. Sure. And again, the cops will tread very lightly because that's something we take that right for people very seriously, that they have their right, freedom of speech and all of that in our public parks. So any other questions about that? Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Suzanne. And now we have fire safety with our Fire Chief Lambert.
Yeah, good afternoon. I really don't have a lot to say. I think the couple things I do want to say or remind people of is the tents. So the tents they need to have anchors on them. So in the summertime when it's windy, we're not having conflagration of tents flying down the aisleways. But also with that, cooking under the tents, unless they're fire rated, they can't cook under the tent, but they can push their stuff to the back of the tent and do it out the back side of it. And they should have a fire extinguisher with them to be able to do that too. Extension cords, we just want to make sure they're not frayed and things when you plug them in. So electrical hazard or anything like that. Other than that, some of the ones I think the golf course I think does like a frisbee golf one. I think we have them like mow the lawn or the grass out there down to about 4 inches. So if you have anything in the grassy areas, we want to make sure that them are mowed down to keep anything that if it did start, then it wouldn't travel so fast to the sides and out in the other areas. And that's really the only a couple things I have. Is there any questions? It's usually where I get it. She was going to answer. She forgot. Well, anything with that has an open flame on it should be under a tent unless the tent is open on all 4 sides, but then it's got to be rated for fire rating. And a lot of the tents that you like the easy ups and stuff, a lot of those are not rated for fire stuff. Usually there's a label in them that says if they're rated for fire or not. Any other questions? Good, thank you.
Thank you, Chief Lambert. And now we're at event promotions with Kristen Higginbotham, our communications manager.
Hello, everybody. It's nice to see a few familiar faces. I'm here to talk to you today in regards to marketing and promotion for your events. So the first slide Dave's going to show you is approved logos from the city. So we still have some folks that have our old logo from 5+ years ago that we're working to really phase out. So if you see a logo on this screen, it is one you can move forward with. Dave, if you can go to the next slide for me. So the second slide here is going to show you what not to do with our logo. So please refrain from putting it on any similar colored background because then it blurs the words. Try and keep it off any very busy background, same thing. If you need to resize it, you're going to want to make sure you're dragging from the corners, not from the sides or top. That's going to skew the image. And then the old logo. So if this is the logo that you have on file with us, please email me so I can send you one of our new logos and only to use that one. And then different events. So the city promotes city-sponsored events, and the city promotes occasionally nonprofit community events hosted by nonprofit community partners. So what are some examples of those? Nonprofit examples might be things that the Community Partnership Resource Center hosts, or for example, if you're familiar with the library's Bubble Party every summer on the lawn between the Cultural Center and the library, those are events that we will promote. And then city-sponsored events. So things like that will be examples of like the Woodland Park Vibes Night, Winter Day in the Park, Cruise Above the Clouds, and the Farmers Market. So those are examples of things that we promote. Where do we promote them? So in the middle box there, you can see our different social media channels, Facebook, Instagram, Nextdoor, and LinkedIn. LinkedIn is used a little more reserved for things that are more relative to the whole community and not so much events, but news and job postings. And then, of course, the city's website. So if you visit our homepage and you scroll just a little ways down, you'll see a section labeled as latest news. That's where we'll feature events. And then just below that is the city's calendar. So this next page here is how to get your event posted to the community calendar. So you'll need to reach out to me. I'm going to ask you to provide me with a few specific details. So description of your event, that can be short and sweet, just a few sentences. Like, we are hosting a cookout at this location. It is for this reason. A flyer, a graphic, or a logo for your event. Just posting the words, "we're having a barbecue," is not going to help promote your event. It's not going to help it get seen and get you the return on your hard work. So please include flyer if you have it, logo if you have it. Essential information. So sometimes we receive requests for things, but it's missing the time or it's missing the place. And then city staff are fielding those questions, which are really questions for the event coordinator. So please make sure that you have all of your necessary information. And then last are what we call calls to action. So it's again with some of that essential information, your phone number, the email address for the person that you want to field the questions for your event, your social media link or your web address, so we can direct traffic back to your organizers in your space to properly answer those questions. My QR code is up there, so you can reach me. You can also find me on the city's website under City Manager's Office for Communications and Marketing, as well as a social media page. Are there any questions? Yes.
We will put any event on our digital sign and on our website and on our social media. It is at our location. Biggest thing is you just have to get us the info, just like Kristen was sharing, so that we can have the accurate info.
Yes. If you are a nonprofit holding an event that is not profiting, or it is a city-sponsored event. So for example, Kiwanis hosts bingo nights. Those don't make it onto the city calendar because they are a for-profit event hosted by a nonprofit. So if your event is not, collecting funds to support whatever cause you're supporting, then we can promote it. If it is something that the city is helping to support, and we are contributing resources or funds to, we can promote it. Correct. Correct. Yes. And then also you'll see posts for any of those qualifying events on our social media pages. So you can always reshare them to your own accounts. One thing that gets kind of tricky sometimes is the time frame. Because of algorithms for different accounts, if I post something today, that doesn't guarantee those people or any people are going to see it today. They may see it in 2 weeks. They may see it in 3 days. The more someone interacts with your account, the more reliable, or the more often rather, that they'll pop up and you will pop up into their feed. So if you're someone who regularly interacts with the city, you're going to see the city post more often than someone who does not. That being said, if you have an event coming up and you get information to us at, say, 5 days beforehand, your chances of that information being widely shared to the public is going to be slimmer than someone who gets it to me 2 weeks beforehand. If you turn it in 48 hours beforehand, there's a chance that I may tell you that I'm not going to post it. And it is exactly for those reasons that it won't be seen in time to make it worthwhile. So the earlier, just like everything else, the earlier you can get it to us, the better. Yes. If you can send me the specifics, I'd review it. So if it's outside of Woodland Park, not likely. Right. Yeah, sorry about that, Melody. Any other questions? Okay, thank you.
Kimberly Burleson, Budget Director. Again, I have an update. Lori, I've got an update for you guys. Home rule supersedes state rule. We collect sales tax for every item, food and drink included. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Kristen. And to bring us all home and wrap this up, my planning director, Karen Schmink. Oh. All right. Cindy Keating.
So Melody, I'm not sure that you've mentioned this, but we have improvements happening at the cultural center. Did she mention that? I might have missed it. Well, I know, but we're so excited about it because we're getting air conditioning and fire suppression. Woohoo! So the reason why Pat and her group has to go to Divide and many of these other people have to find new locations for the first quarter of the year is because this is when the project's happening. So I just wanted to mention that it's going to be beautiful and safe. So Karen, you're up.
All right, this is the wrap up. So thank you guys very much for attending today. We really appreciate you coming. Most of you guys have done events in the past, and so you're seasoned and well-versed in this. And we just really value what you bring to our city. And the big takeaway for you all is two things. One is at least 45 days in advance of your event, please submit your application. We take things early. And then the second one is we hit you with a lot of information today, and there's a variety of business cards and other information on that back table, snacks to go, by the way. But if you're back home later and you're going, now who was it I need to talk to about X? Call the planning office, and Grant and Rick will connect you with the appropriate person. You don't have to play phone tag or hunt and peck. We're there to help you. We will get you in the right direction. And then, like we talked about, your application starts and ends in the planning office. We're the ones that help you coordinate all these different agencies so that your event goes smoothly. So the sooner you get things turned in, the more comprehensive your application is, the easier it is for us to move it along quickly and get you your permit well in advance so that you can focus on the event itself and not all the paperwork people. So we're here for you. Thank you very much for attending, and we hope to see lots of very successful events this year.